I was really happy with sort of the breadth of things that I could learn at Cornell. I think some of my favorite classes were actually outside of the computer science department, and being able to sort of have this world-class computer science department, but also really strong programs in many other areas that I could kind of go and dive into and explore. Was one of the things that made Cornell really special for me, and also helped influence my decision to come back here for my PhD. Over the course of the 4 years that I was here, it transitioned from being about sort of learning some of the basic kind of research that had been done in the past, and more towards exploring new areas and moving into doing research. And there I did a lot of work kind of with large scale data sets that were available. It was the mid-2000s, and it was when people were first starting to gain access to these huge data sets being generated by companies like Yahoo or Microsoft and Google, and millions or billions of people using these websites generating tons and tons of data. And it was the first opportunity that anybody had really had to go and look and see what can we say about that many people doing some task. And so towards the end of my PhD, I started working on a couple of data sets, mostly from LiveJournal, and I did a couple of internships at Yahoo Research. And so was able to go and try and figure out what could we say, given this huge wealth of data that just the entire community had never had access to that sort of thing, and so there was a lot of exciting research like that going on at the time. The two big things that I came away with from Cornell that helped me at Facebook, the one was just having a really kind of solid foundation on a lot of basics of computer science, and a large sort of breadth of all of the basic algorithms and things like that I would ever need, and then some to a certain extent. And then also a certain amount of just applied experience. At Cornell I was able to do a lot of programming. I was involved in some of the sort of programming contest clubs and things that they had at the computer science department. And so I spent a lot of time doing very sort of applied, hands-on, just writing lots and lots of code, which coding I think is a lot like any other activity where you get better and faster with practice. And so by having both the kind of academic side of things, but then also a lot of opportunities to just practice and apply some of those techniques and write code, I came out of Cornell like a pretty fast programmer, and I was able to jump in at Facebook and immediately start applying some of the things that I learned, some of the sort of basic research that I did while I was at Cornell. I was able to kind of immediately transition and apply it to some of the problems that were at Facebook and have a pretty big impact from day one. The main gap that I see CIS filling is the need to have people who can do both the kind of computer science and algorithms side of things, but also join that with some of the statistical understanding and the ability to go in and process a lot of the large data sets that are cropping up more and more across many different fields. And so if you compare the world now to what it was like 30 years ago, in the past you had lots of algorithms, people were building software, building databases, writing code, but you just didn't have these readily available huge gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte scale data sets that you would need to process and try and glean sort of nuggets of wisdom from. And so now, across many different industries, and going forward I'm sure this is only going to become more and more true, you need people who are able to not only have this sort of core computer science understanding so that they can write the software to do some of these analyses, but also have this sort of statistical understanding to go in and do some of the kind of data mining and figure out, I have all this data, it's all kind of messy, what can I figure out from that? How can it help me improve my product, sell more of whatever it is I'm selling, things like that.